they've been super. Like there was no questions at all when we suggested that they'd come into the leadership group. They provide so much, those guys being really experienced players, and even when they weren't in the leadership group as such, they were still chiming in and helping us out a lot. Like we were rotating them through the leadership group meetings, and they were providing a lot for us. So yeah, the way those three guys have been going about their footy on field, they've probably been three of the most consistent players for us over this season, and we know exactly what we're going to get from those guys. And we really feel like a lot of the other young boys look up to guys like those three, and like especially like a Daniel Cross, the example that he sets around this place. Like it's really good to see that someone like him gets recognition for the way he goes about it, and yeah, I think everyone's rapt to see him and the other two voted into the leadership group. Yeah, no, it has been really good for him. He hasn't played too much down back, and he's floated back as a spare man occasionally, but what we've loved about Howie is, like I know that the crowd and the fans notice the high-flying marks back there, but he's actually defending really well. And he's come along a long way with that side of his game, and he's defending first. He's not just trying to take the big marks, and he's not just trying to get the ball in his hands. He's actually beating his man first, which is really good, and he's beginning to understand the role a lot more and help out us other guys around him as well, because coming down at first he was probably a little bit lost because he hadn't played as much down there, but yeah, like his transformation in the last few weeks has been really, really good to see, and it is a real weapon when there is a high ball and him coming across as a third man in and taking the mark or spoiling it. Like it's a huge weapon for us to have as a back line, and if he keeps defending the way he is at the moment, I think Jared Rawlings will struggle to let him go back in the forward line. One guy that I think has taken his game to a new level and probably goes unnoticed at times is Lyndon Dunn. I think he is probably the most consistent player we have at the club, and I know he probably doesn't get the recognition by the media and the fans and that sort of thing, but the jobs he does each week on the opponents that he plays on, he just seems to always get it done and very rarely gets beaten, and he is such a weapon with his kick out of defence, and he's been using that really well, I think. And but his defensive game is just so sound at the moment that we feel like we could put him on any player and he'll beat him. And he's played on some big names now, and he's really got the job done. So credit to him. He does a lot of work away from just on the field and on the track. He does a lot of stuff to help his game, and I think we forget that he always was a forward as well, but the last couple of years, like, he's become one of our most consistent defenders. So it's great to see him sort of resurrect his career like that. And another one, obviously a new player that but has really impressed me and a lot of other guys, is Dom Tyson. The way he goes about his footy in the midfield, we need that inside ball winner like him, and he's just so strong for such a young guy and uses it really well in close and a lot of composure. But it's no fluke that he's playing like that, because the way he attacked pre-season and the way he trains is exactly the way he plays. So it's a real credit to him as well that he's getting the results that he put in over pre-season, because he works hard and he's worked on a lot of areas in his game, and he still is at the moment. Like, even though he's playing really good footy, he's still not comfortable at all, and he's still really working on a lot of areas. Yeah, it is, but I mean, I think the media and the outside world probably overestimates how much players think about that sort of thing. We're only 9 rounds into his first season, and we are starting to see some of the improvements come out on game day, but like, we're not thinking about how long is this going to go for. Is it going to be 3, 2, 4 years? Who knows? But there's still a lot left of this year, so there really isn't much talk about it. I haven't approached him about it. I don't think any other players have, and I think he knows that we'd like him to stay. We'd love him to stay for a bit longer, but we'll wait and see how that pans out. But it's just great to see that his constant message over the whole time has always remained so consistent, and we're starting to really see the improvement in those areas. And it was probably hard to see at the start, and we did so much work on it over pre-season, but it's really good to see that that's what we're basing our game around at the moment, and that's where we're seeing the improvement. And it's obviously a lot about the contested ball and the tackling and the defensive side of our game and limiting the opposition, but like, we're really gaining a lot of faith in what we're doing, because we're really starting to see it, and credit to him, he hasn't changed his message one bit since the start.